And I know y'all know, if you've watched my channel enough, you know how skeptical I am of Google's bullshit. But I'm really excited about this one, I have to be honest. There's no rollout template. I remember I posted something to Twitter. I forgot what it was. I posted something to Twitter about a new feature, and somebody tagged Google Ads, and they're like, why do we have to learn this from him? Why aren't we learning this from you? And at first I was offended, and I was like, hey, mister, this is what I do. But then I was like, you know what? That's a really valid point. They're putting people in a position to fail. The future is here. Email from Google. Improving how your assets are optimized in Performance Max. Irrelevant garble. Starting on October 1st, 2022, we will also begin customizing descriptions and other assets within your ad when they're predicted to improve your campaign performance. This will only impact your campaigns when final URL expansion is on. Translation. Final URL expansion, if you don't know, means that Google gets to choose the page that the traffic is driven to, which, by the way, blows my mind and is amazing, and it's actually very, very, very strongly recommended, because we're operating off of a 500 touchpoint paradigm, meaning Google can't deliver the end result to every customer every time. Instead, we want to be able to nurture them with, education, blogs, videos, content, case studies, testimonials, whatever. So Google being able to deliver people to an end result that it thinks is more applicable to their buyer's journey, brilliant. And now Google's saying, not only are we going to do that, but we're going to change your ad copy to match the page we've chosen in order to maintain continuity with that browsing experience. And I know y'all know, if you've watched my channel enough, you know how skeptical I am of Google's bullshit. But I'm really excited about this one, I have to be honest. There's a bunch of things that bug me about it. There's so many things that bug me about it. The first one is the 2 weeks notice. They're just so heavy-handed so often. There's no rollout template. I remember I posted something to Twitter. I forgot what it was. I posted something to Twitter about a new feature, and somebody tagged Google Ads, and they're like, why do we have to learn this from him? Why aren't we learning this from you? And at first I was offended, and I was like, hey, mister, this is what I do. But then I was like, you know what? That's a really valid point. There should be some level of roadmap that Google makes available to people. And I mean, we've, signed some weird NDA in order to see their future feature development, but even that's nebulous, and there's no date or time or level of commitment to it. So that's really frustrating. So that's the thing that bugs me. That's the first thing that bugs me. The second thing that bugs me about it is, as with all things Google, they're putting people in a position to fail. What this means is you need to go and SEO the daylights out of your site. You need to go make sure that you have rock solid site titles, SEO friendly URLs, title tags, potentially H1 tags, meta descriptions, robust on-page content. Build out that content, make it thumb friendly, bullet points and skimmable and alt tags for your images. Google just said we're using your on-page content in order to write your ad copy. That means you need good on-page content. Why wouldn't there be some level of coaching? You know what I mean? Some level of, hey, just FYI, this is a massive snake's nest that we're throwing you into. And incidentally, here's a couple of best practices as far as creating good ad copy. What am I saying? Here's some best practices as far as creating a web page from which we will be pulling ad copy. So, like that, to me, that's a fair ask. Hey, Google, how about you provide us with, I don't know what, an infographic, a checklist, a best practices one sheet that says, generally speaking, we're pulling our ad copy from the title first, the H1 tag second, we're using alt tags as predictive indications, we're identifying blocks of text as they relate to value proposition. I don't know. That's the thing, is I don't know. I don't know how you're going to use the copy, in what context. I have some really strong hunches, because it's the exact same thing they did with DSA. And so, we figured it out with DSA and we reverse engineered it, and now we know what to do. But that's just because we spend so much money inside of Google that we have so many use cases. Here's the truth. Really think about this. We have so many failures. The only reason I know anything inside of the Google Ads ecosystem, is because I fail more than you do. A bunch of people, 200 some odd clients, give me their money, and then I fail on their behalf. And then I aggregate those failings, and I'm able to distill a little bit of knowledge out of it. And then I build my little bridge. Here's where I am, and here's where I want to go. And I'm building it 1% at a time. And every 1% point counts as a massive epic failure. This is not a glitch. I'm interrupting the video you're watching because I need to remind you that I'm always looking for people to join our team. So if you're passionate about Google Ads and you want to work with the best Google Ads agency on the planet, please go to solate.com/apply. Speaking of working with the best Google Ads agency on the planet, if you're having trouble with Google Ads and you want professional help, that's what we do. You can go to solate.com, that's SOL8.com, to apply for your free, no obligation action plan. And if I've given you any level of value at all, maybe think about giving me a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. That's how we juice the YouTube algorithm so they actually know that I know what I'm talking about. If you have questions, comments, concerns, or confessions, hit me below in the comments. And now, back to your regularly scheduled program. And it's frustrating for me, but it's even more frustrating to think about all the small businesses out there that are going to be thrown into something like this, where Google says, oh, hey, by the way, we're rolling out this feature. It's a massive shift in paradigm and approach. We've recommended that you have final URL expansion on. And when you do that, incidentally, it's going to change everything about the most important facet of your ads. The copy is the most important facet of your ad. The copy is the ad. It used to be called Google AdWords. Like, give us something, man. I'm not asking for I wouldn't trust a step-by-step tutorial from Google. But how about an explanation of how it is that you're pulling the copy? How about a mild rank-ordered hierarchical structure as to what copy we need to pay the most attention to? It's just, oh God, it's so frustrating. I'm sorry I'm jumping on another soapbox, but I'm pretty sure that's why half of y'all come here, by the way. I'm just like I forget that guy's name. Who's the guy that got really mad? Is it Alex Jones? The weird political pundit who would just yell and people would just tune in just to watch him yell because he turned beet red and it looked like he was going to have a heart attack. I'm like the Alex Jones of Google Ads. I'm pretty sure he was a horrible person, by the way, so I'm not saying I didn't just profess to being a fan of Alex Jones. I just know that people watched him because he went crazy. And maybe he's not a horrible person. I don't know. I've obviously just stepped into it. What is it that I want to say about this? I think you absolutely should enable final URL expansion unless you have very strong reasons not to. And that will continue to be our recommendation because it really does make a lot of sense. And this also means that you need to build out a content-rich website. And you need to build a content-rich website that has diverse navigation. So stop bundling pages. If you have 10 services, for instance, don't have a service page with 10 little bullet points. You need 10 separate pages. Each of your product categories probably needs a page that has more than just the products on it. Explain your materials, your sourcing, your process, your manufacturing, your warehouse, your commitment to insert virtue signaling, whatever here. You need as much relevant content as you can think of, because what this is saying on multiple levels is, hey, we're going to use the content on your website in order to nurture people from the top of the funnel down to the bottom of the funnel. And we're also going to use the content on your website in order to write your ads. And here's the other thing that I think is tremendously important. Not all ads are launched to be clicked on, right? Especially because Performance Max is so heavy display based. You have to think about your ads as a branding opportunity. And so if Google is pulling content from your website, make sure that it's brandable content. Make sure it's content that you'd actually want associated with your brand and your URL and your value proposition. And make sure it's up to date. And make sure it's robust. That might be the most important thing. It's not going to be able to pull something that's not there. So, if there's something that you really want to say, or there's a value proposition that's really important, I would not only make sure that it's above the fold, I'd make sure it's repetitive. Be repetitious in the things that you want Google to definitely pull. And I'd have those in the title, multiple places in the description. And realize, too, that Google's not necessarily going to pull just from, you can see this in Google's copy recommendations when you build out Performance Max asset groups. It doesn't just pull from your on-page copy. It pulls from metadata. It pulls from site title. It pulls from H1 tags. So Google's gone on and talked about they've basically destroyed metadata philosophically, saying, "Oh, we don't pay attention to metadata at all." And I'm like, "Yeah, you do. Yes, you do. I've seen it." And then I think there's also other indications that Google would use to define what copy is most relevant and valuable. Like I've never seen Google use alt tags in ad copy creation, obviously, but I can see how Google would use an alt tag in order to kind of triangulate what's most important on the page. And it's like, oh, okay, I've got a couple of images with an alt tag about this particular product. This page is obviously about that product. So realize that the page copy that you have is going to give Google strong intent-based signals as far as what you were trying to do when it comes to that page and that copy. So, and none of this, by the way, is new. None of this is new. It might be new to you if you're a Google Ads person. This is all old school SEO. This is old school on-site optimization. So just go buy somebody's really old SEO course, because SEO's never changed. And I know every SEO on the planet just got really mad at me for that. Y'all, it's never changed. It's never in a million years. It's always just been produce the best possible content and then get the best possible links. And everything that you think has changed about it is just all your little black hat tricks being changed or moved away. But I think that's all I have to say on this topic. I'd be interested in y'all's opinion. Are you going to enable final URL expansion now that you know Google is rewriting your ads? Are you excited about it? Are you skeptical? Anything you think we should be aware of? Any guardrails that you think other people should put up? Anything that you think I'm not considering? I want to know it all. Appreciate you watching. I'll see you tomorrow.
So we said, what's the most effective way to promote a specific product?
Yes.
So it depends. Now, the most effective way is to run a YouTube and a Performance Max at the same time at a very high rate to a product. That is going to be the most effective way.